Hey guys, Josh here. You might know me as Mad Charcoal. Today I'll be drawing an older gentleman, an old man, using some Pastel too. To get an idea of where everything's going to go. You can use whatever material you'd like and whatever tool you'd like for this part, but it's good not to kind of stay away from pencils at the beginning. That way you can be expressive and cover large spaces of the drawing with tone quickly and not waste time on the details just yet. I like to squint at my drawing or my reference while I'm working. That way I can get a better idea of what everything looks like without being distracted by the details at the beginning. Details can be worked at for as long as you'd like after you get everything done decently well. The big parts are more important in the drawing. I'm going to take this Sofft Pallet knife and kind of refine the values and the proportions that I'm deciding on. No need for an eraser just yet, just draw over any mistakes or changes that you're going to make. You could erase later. It's better to work the entire drawing than it is to work parts and parts of the drawing. Meaning, go back and forth to different parts. Don't just try to finish one section and move on to the next. Move back and forth like a sculpture. A two-dimensional sculpture. I'm not too concerned about the outside. I'm going to keep it really expressive on those parts. I'm going to be a little bit more intentional and detailed and refined in the actual inside part of the face where I think most of the attention should be in the drawing. I think it's the most interesting part of the drawing, so I'm going to make sure to refine that the most. Kind of have some hints at a beard down here and down here a little bit. It's like sculpting. Squint, make sure that your values are accurate. The way I kind of refine my values is that I compare different parts of the face and see, like, okay, if this part's very dark, this part's not as dark, and then it's going to be like a highlight here, so I don't really touch that as much. I do kind of go over it lightly just so that I can pop back out with a more accurate highlight with the shadow. But it's good to compare your values and not just go light and dark. You're going to have the value scale, which is like a mid-tone and like cast shadows and Terminator shadows, which I could make an entire other video about shadows and light, which I probably should soon, but it really helps you understand the way that light works and the way you can replicate it. And to see where, like, for example, in the forehead here, it's like a gradient because it's rounded. And then here it's a sharper, from dark to light, it's a sharper edge because it goes back into space quickly. It's less rounded. And same with the nostrils. It comes back behind the light quickly and deep. Oh, drop that. I guess it's time to move on from that. I don't really want to pick that up because a little bit. Alright, I'm going to blend it a little bit with my hand. You could also use a paper towel. Like, I'll drop that too. I'll take a paper towel and smooth it all out a little bit. Don't press too hard, otherwise you'll lose a lot of the values you worked hard on. But now that I have this nice smooth color, here, let me take this compressed charcoal. This looks a little too empty, so I'm just going to hint at the top of the head there. And here and here. Okay, now I'm taking my kneaded eraser. taking my Kneaded Eraser. It's black because I use it often, but it's pretty new actually. And I'm going to start carefully popping in some highlights in some light areas. So this whole area here, I'm being really gentle with it because this is where you kind of find your details in where the light's hitting. And you don't want to go straight to white, otherwise you're going to lose depth. You find the depth in those those very small changes in light and dark. That's where you'll get your realism. That's where you'll get your feeling of light. That's where you'll get your ability to create a three-dimensional feeling. You don't have to be completely realistic, kind of like John Singer Sargent or someone like that. You could stay really expressive and have like a realistic feeling. You know what I mean? Like not so detailed. You could capture a lot of light and dark and a lot of emotion without having to create something that's photorealistic. We'll do a little bit of reflected light. Reflected light is never that bright. It's just bright compared to the surrounding areas, which are in shadow usually. And so make sure that you're being very, very careful with that reflected light, because it's just like bouncing off another surface coming back to that surface, which means that it can't be that, it's probably lost most of its potency. It can't be that bright. But hinting at it is nice. It gives it a nice lively feel to the piece that it otherwise wouldn't have without that reflected light. If there is reflected light in the image, not all references will have reflected light. Not all light situations have it, but most do. Even though some are stronger, some are weaker in that sense. But most images, I mean all images would have light and dark, light source, multiple light sources, at least one, otherwise you can't see anything. But I don't even detail the eyes really, because I kind of want the shape of the face to decide and to show you where he's looking, where the eyes are, without you even really having to worry about seeing pupils or drawing every single part of it in. I enjoy having it so that some of this drawing isn't necessarily, detailed or finished. That way the viewer plays a role in completing the drawing in their mind. It makes it more interactive. It makes it more enjoyable, a little more interesting than just a flat finished piece all the way around, all the way together. And yeah, so I'm getting right around that point that I would like to keep the drawing. I'm just got a little bit of a reflected highlights from the eyes, just so that you can get a little bit of detail in there, a little bit more to play with. But I'm not going to draw on those pupils or anything like that. Those are actually too strong. I'm going to wipe away a little bit of that. Now that I have like most of my light source in them, I'm going to pop in like a really bright highlights to really bring out the parts that I think come out furthest, which is like the nose here. That comes out furthest, so that's probably going to have the most lights and the most darks, because that makes it seem closer. If you want something to recede, you're going to have it medium dark and medium light. If you want something to come forth, it's really effective to use it as a very bright light and a very dark dark. That kind of makes sense. Whatever's closest to you in the image. So this is going to be super bright there, and bright here, and we'll do that as well. Yeah, I think I'm about done. Maybe I could take this charcoal. I got this at the 99-cent store actually, like the Dollar Tree. Let me see if it'll focus in on this. Okay. It's like a big piece of charcoal shaped as a pencil. I just sharpened it down with a knife. It's not very sharp at the moment, but it's okay. It works. It's kind of a harder charcoal, but I like it to use it as a detail, kind of like a less messy version of like a piece of charcoal, like a charcoal stick. You could probably use a charcoal pencil in place of this, honestly. Except I don't have to sharpen this all that much because it just has so much charcoal on it. It's not just the tip of it that's charcoal. You know? Okay, so this needs to be darker in here. Kind of sculpting and refining these details a little bit. Giving it a little bit more life. I'm not going to go detailed when it comes out to these edges because I want it to really focus. I want the viewer to, their eye to be drawn toward the middle of it. Toward the eyes, the nose, the mouth a little bit. Even for the beard and for the mouth down there, the way I like, you can create it so that it seems more realistic without even having too much detail on it, is getting the large areas of value accurate and then working smaller there, not individual hairs, you know? It's more like clumps or like surfaces, large surfaces. There should be more of a Terminator shadow here, which is where the light is hitting least. Alright. Should be a little darker in here where the eye is. I'm not detailing it or anything like that, I'm just making it darker. Pretty satisfied with the outcome of this so far. There's some wrinkles in the forehead that I just kind of want to hint at because they're not super dark or anything like that, but they are definitely there. I'm gonna make a darker space there for sure. I think I'll call it there. Thanks for watching, guys. You guys are the best. Let me know what you think in the comments or if you have any questions. I prefer not to show you my reference so that you can kind of take your own reference and apply the things that I'm telling you. I think that's more effective than just copying what I'm doing. I think there's a limit in learning in that. So let me know what you guys would like to learn next, and check out my shop. It's madcharcoal.com/shop if you guys want to buy prints, art materials, or original drawings and paintings. So thank you. You guys are the best. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.